Hi, this is Kimba. Welcome to my new YouTube series, Watercolor with Kimba. I just finished a coloring book, my first one. It's called Watercolor Mama Dove, and I'm very excited about it. We had some doves move in to our house this year, and well, just outside the window, and it gave us a bird's eye view of the whole process. We saw the nest, and then like a day or two later, after we noticed the nest, there's an egg and a mama dove and a papa dove, and within 3 weeks it was all over. So I recorded that. That's actually on my channel too. I've uploaded the first part. There's actually 3 parts. So I took video of each week and put a little video together, but I've almost got number 2 edited. Anyway, we love watching the doves. I watch them in my backyard all the time. And so my first coloring book is about doves. And so I have finished that, and I've also got it in download version. So it's time to color it now. And the reason I've got this book out showing you, this is the book that I use when I am watercoloring. I have a sketchbook, but you know, at first I used that because I felt more comfortable sketching, because I didn't want to waste any good paper. And so I filled a few books of those up. But I really love this paper because it is, you can color on it, you can use pen, you can use light markers, okay? You cannot push hard too much, otherwise it will. And here, I'll flip you through some of my work. But it's pastels, and it's a beautiful paper. So when you add water to it, it holds up. And I watercolor in my book, and so I don't have to tape it down when I water it. But if you use the instant download version of my book and you follow along with me, I get this book from my local Walmart. It's like $8, a little under $8. And I have bought it in the past at hobby stores like Hobby Lobby and Joann's, and it's more expensive there, but then you could use your coupon. It's like $10 or $11, and then you get your coupon, and anyway, it's about $8. So you get 60 sheets of paper, and so once you get the book, then in order to do the download with me, you're going to want to carefully tear out some pages. They're perforated, so you'll have a nice smooth edge. And then if you have a printer at home, you just, instead of using regular printer paper, you use this mixed media paper. And then once you have your image, you're ready to go. If you don't have a printer at home, you can go to the library. You'll have to get the assistance of a librarian. To print something at the library is pretty easy. You have to use the computers if you don't already have a black and white photo. Okay, if you have a photo of the image you want to print out and you want to put it on your watercolor paper, you bring your watercolor paper with you, you bring your image with you, and then you have to feed this paper in the back of your image. Now, if you don't have the image with you, you'll need to use the library's computers. And it's very simple. They ask you to log on, and you log on. The way I have done it in the past is I go to my email, I download the image to the desktop, and then I print it. And you choose what size you want. You choose if you want it black and white or color. If it's color, it's going to cost more, but black and white is very inexpensive. It's 10 to 15 cents a copy. So there you go. That's how you can get your image onto watercolor paper. Alright, so here we go. Today we're going to start with this image, and I hope you can see that. I might zoom in a little bit here. Okay, I think that's good. We'll see how this video does. It's my first one, so we're gonna go easy and make adjustments where necessary. So here's my image, and yes, I know there are some blemishes on my original, which I clean up when I put them in the computer because I want you to have a nice clean copy, but I don't worry about it if I have a mark on my paper that I couldn't get off with a pencil, then I just don't worry about it. I work it into the design. So what I do when I draw is I start with pencil. And I'll probably do some series with drawing too, but right now I wanted to start with what I was comfortable with, and that is watercoloring after I have the image here. So I pencil it, and then once I'm happy with it, I go over it generally with a black fine point marker. And this time I chose to do ballpoint pen, and it looks good too. I like them both. So here we go. When you get started, these are Crayola. I don't know if these are watercolor. I don't know. Anyway, I don't worry about it anymore. When I color, I use watercolor pencils. I like them because it gives me the precision that I like. If I make a mistake or if I want to make sure I only get it in one spot, I can. And then once I get all the color on, then I go over it with water. Sometimes I will wet the pencil before I touch the paper. And if it's a small image, I will do that because I need more precision. But generally, I go over the image afterwards with a simple brush, which I have right here, a couple of them. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Let's see. I haven't really thought this out. You're gonna be seeing it real time how I operate. Now, this is about a dove, and in my world, doves are gray, light blue. They're really beautiful. And so I'm gonna add some of that gray to my doves. And what I was saying to you is I use a mixture of pencils. I have some that are watercolor, and there is a Crayola. It's like a 12-pack, and it's in the kids section. But they're wonderful. They're primary colors. They are nice and bright when you put water to them, and they're inexpensive. So if you want to get started with watercolors, that's an option. And if you want to, there's some beautiful sets too, more expensive ones. So get what you're comfortable with, but really you can go with the 12-pack of Crayola, and you can get that in the art supply section of, say, a Walmart. Or you go to a hobby store and you go to the drawing section. Okay, but I use a mixture of watercolor pencils and just color pencils, because what I have found is that when I blend, some of the times it will blend just as easily as a watercolor pencil, those that are not. And even if it doesn't, the watercolor pencils that I use around it blend with it. And so I really like how it works. It gives me lots of different colors to choose from, because the watercolor pencils are more expensive. And so I have so many of these. As I've been off and on in my life, picking up art here and there, and these pencils I'm actually excited to be using because for whatever reason, I had bought them a long time ago. Like, I don't even know how many years ago, when I first started drawing again after my son was older and I had more time and I was stressed out at work and I wanted to have an outlet. So I bought some art supplies, and so these have been packed up really. And then and still I didn't use them even after I picked up art big time. I guess about 4 years ago. I've been going at it strong for the last 4 years. Prior to that, I was doing it, but more as a hobby. Now it's every day. This is really like my job. I love to draw. I love to observe things and then let it percolate in my brain and then see how it comes out in my art. I find it really fascinating, and it helps me quiet my mind. It does a lot of things for you when you use your hands and you focus on something. It settles you. It does something. So, because these are two doves, I'm gonna mirror them. I don't know if I will the whole way through, but I want to have similarities. What I noticed about our family of doves, and I already knew this because I've been watching them, but you really can't tell the difference between a male and a female. They look alike. They're both beautiful. They have like a shiny, like an iridescent, shiny head. It's really beautiful color. It's a mixture of blues and grays and pinks, and it picks up the light, and it's really, really beautiful. And they were right outside our window, and so we had a great look at them. And I didn't keep the camera turned on all the time, but once a week I went up there and I would flip it on for about an hour, and that's the footage that I caught. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so anyway, I'm coloring this in. I want to make sure, maybe I'm in too close. Yes. Alright. I'm going to keep adding gray. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. But you don't have to. And what I've noticed is from day to day, when I draw and when I color, I have different moods. So if you start a project and you want it to feel the same way the whole way through, then you finish it that day. And a lot of times when I draw, I will put together, I'll just draw a lot. And it all feels similar. It's interesting. And then the next day, it'll be a different feel. So that's what I've learned when I want to do a series. And what I do when I'm coloring, if I add some color in one area, I like to have continuity and make the whole piece come together. And so I will make sure that I add it in different places. So whatever color I use, I'll use it in a few different places. And what happens is by the end of the piece, you have cohesion. It all kind of works together.